You on your way now. You got a name and a street rep. Think you're somebody now, right? You ain't somebody. You're just a bigger target. They're gonna be looking for you.
So the last time I saw APB was GDC 08, and Dave gave a presentation there, but it's come a long way since then. Tell us about what you're showing here at E3.
So what we've been trying to show here is more of an evolution of what the game has become. So at GDC last year, we really focused on the customization and the mission system. And here we actually want to show the full spectrum of the game, which is what we call the 3 C's: creativity, conflict, and celebrity. And the idea is that the game really revolves around those 3 things. So the creativity aspects are being able to create the character that really is unique and identifies with what you are. So you bring something into the world that's really expressly you. You're able to put symbols on your character as tattoos, make clothing with those same types of symbols, be able to have cars that also have branded to you, go in and have this unique identity in the world, and then participate in the conflict, which is really about this transparent matchmaking where you go in the world and it's really consequences of your activities rather than just arbitrary 2v2 matches or 8v8. You go in, whether you're a criminal or an enforcer, you have different options you can do. You can work for a contact such as La Rocha, or you can actually go in and just decide what you want to do. Like if you're a criminal, you can just steal a car, but there are always consequences. So do you steal the car in a really abandoned area so no one sees you and you don't get reported, or do you steal a car in broad daylight, in which case you're likely to get reported immediately and have a match right then and there. And it's really important to talk about the matchmaking because we don't have any lobbies, there's no waiting around for the action, it's all underneath the hood, transparent, and it's asymmetrical, which means you could have one guy who's really, really good, who's done something, he can be matched up against 4 other people who aren't so good, but 4 makes a kind of a fair match for him. Yes. So that's really kind of the heart of the action game. The idea is that everything you fight, everything you experience in the game is other players. There are certainly NPCs as civilians, but they're passive. They're there as sheep for the criminals to actually prey upon, whereas the enforcers prey upon the criminals. So everybody you fight is always another intelligent human who's unpredictable as you are.
Let's do some business.
Can you tell us a little bit about the design and the world that APB is set in?
Certainly. So it's set in a city that's under conflict. What's happened is Samparo, which is a city, has gone through this big civil unrest. The city government's powerless to stop it, so they've actually started recruiting just normal people in the world to help them with the enforcement. So enforcers aren't just cops, they're vigilantes, they're bounty hunters, they're corporate security, they're government agents. Everyone's teaming up to try to stop this rise in crime. And on the opposite side, we have this criminal faction that's headed by a shadowy figure, and each of these little organizations within the criminal faction are starting to work together and actually come out and really put the hurt on the city. So the idea is the enforcers are protecting the city and the criminals are destabilizing it. And the idea is that the story we've set is the setting. It's what you come into the world as. It's what you feel and gives you kind of an idea of the tone of the city. But the actual story is what the players do, not what we talk about. So in other words, we don't give you a narrative that you have to experience. It's what you do in the missions. It's what happens when you're in the mission and you're fighting, and that great moment where you get that great kill. That's what you're going to tell other players about, not who gave you the mission or what bad guy. It's about what you did and about what you've experienced. And I think that's the core part. Is it's a player-driven story, not a narrative we've created. We don't consider ourselves the people who should drive that. We think the players want to drive that.
Be a somebody or be a nobody.
Could you paint a picture of a mission and how it plays out?
Certainly. So a simple mission would be, for example, we have a set of enforcers who've been tasked with escorting a bank car or an armored car to a bank with some bullion. And the idea is that if they take the public routes, we're going to start tipping off criminals that they're around. So if they take the back alleys, then maybe they can quietly get it there without getting caught. But at some point, if they've raised their profile enough, we're going to match them against a set of criminals who are there to stop that from happening. So the criminals may be out doing something else at the moment, but as soon as we need them to actually oppose those enforcers, we say, hey, do you want to go in and take part in this? There's a bank car you can take out and get a really fat score out of it. So then we send them against the enforcers, and the fight ensues, and the enforcers try to get the bullion there, and they might, but they might barely make it, or the criminals might stop them, do a roadblock, use a big giant semi or lorry to drive them off a bridge, and then actually take that money and run with it and get it back to their safe house.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Even now, where we have the game kind of in its core kind of shape and being able to play it as a team, we actually play test every Monday, once a week, as a whole development team, and we get in there. And the kind of things you see are just outlandishly fun.
I can imagine that, like when all these things are taking place at the same time, that the city is just,
It feels alive. I mean, when you combine that with the fact that we have this voice over IP technology from Vivox, we actually do positional voice. So when you're wandering around the world, if there's something going on you're maybe not part of, you actually hear not only the sound effects of the combat, you hear the emotion from the players because you hear their voices. So you hear them screaming out, "Hey, I need some help over here," or, "Hey, I'm going to go flank over here." So it really brings this city. The whole point is the city is supposed to be a breathable, living environment that the players actually feel like they're a part of, rather than just a static backdrop that they're participating in.
So, what kind of platform plans do you have? What can we look forward to play APB on?
So for initial release, we're going PC only. The idea is that we could really try to get everything out there and get it on, you know, the Xbox or other consoles. But the idea is we want to make sure we get that technology perfected, get it polished, get it well executed, so really the players feel like they have a lot of value for the money they pay. So we get it out there on PC, and then we start exploring the options of where else we want to take it.
Because you got a bit of a fan base on the Xbox 360, I guess.
Oh yes, I know they're probably a bit disappointed with the announcement, but never fear. I mean, there's certainly other plans afoot. We just aren't ready to really pursue those until we make sure we got that core game ready on the PC.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.